Welcome back, Alphas. During Star Citizen Patch 371, I shared some of my mining tips and tricks with you. Plus, I asked you all to share some of your tips and tricks with us. Thanks, by the way, for all the responses. So now, we're going to cover some of those mining tips and tricks that you shared. Dig in and hold position. Let's consider this video a whetstone, so to speak, to sharpen our mining skills in anticipation of the new mining features coming with Star Citizen 3.8, like new specialized mining heads for us to try out, and the new Argo Mole, which is a 3-person mining and refining ship, which sounds dope. We're going to continue the discussion to clarify a few things and build on the previous tips. Even if I don't have the perfect visuals for that particular trick, which, yeah, I know, it's kind of out of character for me. But best of all, you're going to hear even more mining tricks that other citizens have been using to help them earn way more creds than what I was talking about. So when you hear something useful in this video, please return the favor, tap that like button. I mentioned in my last mining video that the Prospector can scan for gems inside caves as it flies over, basically revealing where the cave is, like in case you don't have a mission for it. Adding to that, you guys told me that the Terrapin and the Reliant Sen can also scan for minables in 3.7.2, so good call out. Plus, CIG devs just recently revealed that one day we'll be able to buy different scanners that are better suited for different jobs, being specialized in detecting certain things better than others. This will add even more variety to which ships can scout for ore and gems effectively. Also in the last video, I mentioned that if you want to save time, you can simply tap F to pick up gems. And don't move after you pick up the first one. You can just keep tapping F to pick up the gems automatically, without having to deal with aiming your crosshairs at floating words. But going farther down the rabbit hole, Redditor Tremors007 says to save even more time, crouch while you pick up gems, because it cuts down the animation time. What? Plus, he says in real life, you wouldn't bend over from a standing position to pick up that many rocks. It'd hurt your back, right? So why do it in-game? And others have agreed. Harvest while crouched, and you'll save time. In fact, another Reddit user, Sarlacc, digs deeper into efficiency tricks. He says that if you carry a rock in your right hand, when you go to stow the next gem, it will use the left-handed animation. And he says that's about twice as fast as the right-handed animation. What? Really? So it sounds like we should always crouch, pick up the first gem, keep it in the hand, then stow the others with the lefty animation. Wow. I mean, he's got tricks, and we're going to hear about others later, too. Corey Ponting recommends that you place flares as you descend into the caves, and you point them in the direction that you're traveling so you can tell if you're running in circles. That helps you to save time also. Remember, flares last only like 30 minutes, so make haste when you dig deep into a cave to fill up your rucksacks. Wait, was that rucksack plural? Corey Ponting shared another tip. Carrying 2 rucksacks allows you to carry twice as many harvestables. Yup. Wink B says you can fill them up and then swap to another. Also, you can swap to regular chest armor when one is filled to safely store the gems. And then if you get ganked on the way out of the cave or if the server crashes, your gems will be safe in your inventory. Haha, that's smart. So in case you're wondering, 2 backpacks of harvestables is the max here in Star Citizen 3.7.2. And I'd imagine that it stays the same until physicalized inventory is in-game. Back to tips from the Sarlacc. Well, tips from Redditor Sarlacc. He also recommends that you store crates of gems in your ship, and then you continue to hand mine. Basically, you fill up on gems, walk back to your ship, open your inventory with I, and then drop a crate on your ship's cargo grid. Swap armor to your other rucksack, drop another crate. Starlight says that each crate of Knight is worth about 33,000 alpha UEC in 3.7.2. And once you drop your personal inventory crate, you just go back in and do it again. When you go to sell, you can sell multiple crates for even more profit. So if you have the extra time, it makes perfect sense to load up and then save the extra trips back and forth. Rule of acquisition number 54. Rate divided by time equals profit. Quick word of caution though. My org mates and I have tried this move on occasion, putting our gems in crates. And as this game is in alpha, we have found that certain places on some ships might eat your crate. So the safest location that we found is to place the crates on your ship's cargo grid. Maybe it has to do with the magnetic plates. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows and they can tell us. In the last video, where I was looking at mining dense Terra Knight on Ariel and Aberdeen, I considered those Lost Spectre fails, because I couldn't crack the Terra Knight effectively, or without dying for that matter. Apparently, it wasn't just the ore that was dense. It may have been me on this one. So I gave a couple of examples of some recent mining runs going after Bexelite, and then I asked you what your best mining runs were. And let me say, I didn't realize you could make that much in one Prospector run. My best run was 34K, and y'all put me to shame. There's people out there earning 50 to 60, 65K per mining run on Terra Knight. But how? It's really dense, and it does have very unstable pockets, I've found. Citizen Damian Vincent has figured out how to engineer a Terra Knight cracking machine by learning how to reroute enough power to his mining laser. Okay, here's what he says. One tip is to scan the rocks first with your scanner, not your mining laser. Okay, so you hit tab, hold left click on the rock, and it will give you the best range to run your mining laser, like on these harder rocks. He said, look at the left-hand side. If it says 0.56 to 0.65, it means run your laser between 56 and 65. Huh, nice. Never noticed that. Secondly, he says that the rocks that I must have been hitting were ones with a real high hardness. Anything approaching 1.0 hardness is going to be tough to crack. So he says, say that you get a rock with 0.9 hardness, right? You're in your Prospector. That's a tough nut to crack. But what you can do, here's what he's doing. He's upgrading his power plant in his Prospector. So he says with that added juice, killing all unnecessary systems, kills all power to weapons, quantum drive, everything but thrusters, mining laser, and of course his shields. And remember, put those at 250% in the front. Now, he says you overclock the mining laser, and that's going to draw a lot more power. And that's what you need, right? But you're going to have that upgraded power plant. Otherwise, the default one can crash the power supply, and he says your ship will fall out of the sky. Sounds like maybe experience. But with the added juice of the upgraded power plant, now you can mine those very tough rocks, albeit at a very slow pace. For instance, recently, he caught a 25% Terra Knight rock with high hardness. His default mining laser couldn't get it over 2%. But using these tactics, he said he was able to break that rock down, and he came out with several chunks of Terra Knight that were well over 70, 80%. He said he made 60K on that one run. Yeah, not to mention that he had multiple backpacks. Apparently, I was choosing rocks with hardness 1.0 or something pretty close to it. These tips, very impactful, very helpful tactics when it comes to finding some Terra Knight that we can actually crack with a lone Prospector. Now the place to go, it seems, for a little softer Terra Knight than what I was finding, maybe Daymar, okay? In the comments, Gower Kerno, sorry if I butchered it, says favorite place for Terra Knight? Near Kudra Ore, or Shubin Mining, or ArtCorp 141 on Daymar. That's where you can find some Terra Knight. I gotta check these out, so thank you for those tips. Brad Arenz agrees, and says that in his opinion, Daymar is more potential profit per minute than, say, Aberdeen or Illyria. And his advice is to avoid trying to mine agricium deposits or anything with 3.5 instability or higher. So now we know to avoid 1.0 hardness and avoid anything 3.5 instability or higher. Hey, we've got some numbers to go by now. I really appreciate that, guys. Brad Arenz even goes as far as to say that he thinks caves are inferior to looking for surface minables. He says, when you find 14 deposits of Knight in a tight cluster, you can triangulate it and visit it daily. And while you're doing that, you can mine with a prospector. Now me, I haven't found more than 3 deposits of Knight clustered on the surface. To me, this means I can sling more rocks, and I just need to keep searching. And so should you. By the way, among other tips, Brad also says that when you exit your prospector or any ship with a ladder, if the landing surface isn't relatively flat, consider jumping out of the ship so that the animation doesn't cause you to clip through the moon's surface and then fall to your death. According to what we've been hearing about the 3.8 PTU, which of course can change, is that mining will become a little more challenging in 3.8. As the green zones to stay within have been observed as being smaller on some of the more popular minables. But I believe that this is a move in anticipation of the new mining lasers they're going to drop and the mining consumables being added. And if they didn't tighten up the green zones, we'd never really need to buy consumables because we can just do it without. The nice thing is that I'm sure that we're going to see a laser that's powerful enough to more easily mine Terra Knight deposits and other ones that have a real high hardness. And until we get those upgrades on our ships, we can just use Damian Vincent's tricks from earlier. And then we can get that hard to reach ore. You too tired to go sell tonight? Just gonna log out? Well, Drew Smith said in the comments that Prospector Bed logouts work pretty well now. You can go FPS mine some surface rocks, and then you can log out in your bed, and then log back in your ship when your gem rocks will be right there in your rucksack. Now, here's the thing. Ian Sears says, be careful. Don't wear your rucksack while you're climbing into the bed. You got to take off your rucksack before you lie down. So change armor to something else. Take off your rucksack. Save, close your Moby glass, then get into the bed. Okay, hardcore role players, earmuffs, or fast forward to the next section to not hear these next tricks. They can be immersion breaking. Fast traveling in Star Citizen, as I call it. When time is of the essence or you just don't have the patience for mass transit. So until we get TDD terminals near the spaceport, here's what we could do to save some time. I said land, power down, stand up, and then backspace to get across town faster. But only if you didn't have personal inventory, like only if you didn't have anything in your rucksack. But you guys built on that idea and figured out how to do it with personal inventory. So Renee, my man, Roland, says how not to lose your backpack inventory. Open Moby glass, change armor, hit save, hit backspace, wake up, change back to your rucksack, go sell the ore. Ha, nice. And thanks for testing it for us and explaining how to do it step by step. If you don't want to explain this stuff to your org mates, consider sharing this video with them. And subscribers, thanks for your patience as I put all this together. I tried to squeeze in as many of the tips and tricks that you shared with me as I could, but I'm pretty sure I missed some. So what did I miss? Let's crack into the comments below. Thanks for watching, by the way, and enduring my puns. Sub for more, and look for me slinging rocks. Wait, that doesn't sound good, even in a video game.